Hi, guys. Welcome to the PHP. I'm Booker. That's Perez. How you doing?
I'm great. Let me briefly and quickly run through everything that we're talking about today. Chris Harrison and The Bachelor, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, Chrissy Teigen, Khloe Kardashian, Shailene Woodley and Aaron Rodgers, Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather, Lorde, Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox, Jojo Siwa, Army Hammer, Matthew Perry, Taylor Swift, Kid Rock, Naomi Osaka, Vin Diesel, Travis Barker, Demi Lovato, Billie Eilish, Drake Bell, Tom Cruise, Kobe Bryant, and more.
Wow.
I'm well, and I'm especially grateful and flattered that so many of our listeners and viewers reached out to me and were wondering what was up with this week's podcast. If you weren't paying attention a while back, I had mentioned that Booker was going on vacation this week. You went to Florida to visit your mom. How was that?
Let's never call Florida vacation. That was just a visit to my mother because we ended up going to Daytona Beach, which I imagine there's like hell and then there's hell adjacent. Have you been to Daytona? Oh, it's just the worst place on planet Earth. It is just full of awful people. It's an awful town with terrible food, awful service. You know what's happening right now, and this could be everywhere in America. It could maybe just not be Florida. But in Florida, every business has help wanted signs, right? So I can't figure it out. I'm like, I got to think a lot of people need work. Like no one has a mask. There's no like reason why people can't go to work, right? So the thing is, we finally found a restaurant that's open.
Actually, I have the answer for you because I read something on this.
Well, I can tell you the answer, but go ahead.
Well, especially in the restaurant industry, those people found other jobs and they switched careers. That's what I read. That's what I read. Well,
that's not it. I got it from the people that are the ones that are actually still working down there and they're cleaning up. They said, here's the deal. The state is giving people about $1,000 every other week for unemployment. So when the jobs, everybody, especially in a vacation town, there was no work. So everybody went on unemployment. Well, nobody wants to come off of it now because they're giving it to people till September. So no one is available to work anywhere because they're getting paid $1,000 every other week to stay home. So everyone is still on vacation and there's, no one's really looking for work because why would you? The government is literally paying people to stay home when, it's all over there. And my girlfriend, it was great. My girlfriend, she's immune compromised and she's got something going on. So she still wears a mask. And one of the anti-maskers came up on her and was like, you don't need that fucking mask. It's a fucking political. And the only thing about it for Kellen was that she was pissed that she couldn't, the other person couldn't see her smiling with her mask on. She was so happy she pissed somebody off. But who would care? You know what I mean? Like who gives a shit if you're wearing a mask? But it's still the Trump trucks. Fuck Biden. It's like being on a different planet down there. Just the eighth circle of hell. That's what Florida is. Fuck Florida.
I still enjoy visiting Florida. I mean, I love Orlando. I love Tampa. I've never been to Daytona Beach. I have been to Panama City Beach, which I would imagine is very similar to Daytona Beach. And of course, Miami, where I'm from.
It's just jacked up trucks and just awful people. Jacked up trucks, terrible food, awful people. The beach is beautiful. Just don't turn around. Do not turn around because Daytona is behind you.
Once you've been on a Florida beach, you can't go in the beach in California because the water's freezing here.
Yeah.
And in Florida, it's nice and warm.
That's right. There's a nice thing to say about Florida. You could get into the ocean. It was like, nice. Good point. Florida was great.
It was good spending time with your mother. You didn't get into any fight.
Oh God, no, we would never get into a fight. It was just a terrible experience. Like the hotel, they're understaffed and we couldn't even buy water. There wasn't a gift shop open in the hotel. They don't even have vending machines. Okay. It's like, it was like camping in a fucking hotel. The Hilton. Great job, Hilton Daytona. You suck. No restaurants open. I mean, it was honest to God. It was just the worst. I would have been better camping.
You're sounding like a Karen.
Good.
It, it, I do, I do acknowledge that most of what you're saying is true though, because I recently, I don't know if I shared it on the podcast, had to find a new nanny. And it's
Hmm.
so hard finding a new nanny because most nanny or a lot of nannies got laid off during the pandemic
Hmm.
because parents were working from home or they were concerned about people coming into their homes from other places and they're getting unemployment. And then some nannies started working again, but they only wanted to get cash so they could continue to get their unemployment.
Mm,
And I don't do that. I'm by the books. I
that's
will
right.
pay you and yada, yada, yada. Anyways, let's get on to the show because we've got a lot of show.
I'm sorry. I'm
Um,
sorry I blew up
no,
everybody.
it's
I'm
all
sorry to the
good.
rest of the floor. I'm sure the rest of Florida is lovely, but Daytona's awful.
It's all good. You sound like me. I like to let you indulge every once in a while.
Thank you. Thank you. I needed it.
Next week, we will be back on our regular schedule. So that means the audio podcast should be coming out on Monday, and the video, the vlogcast, should be coming out on Tuesday on my at Perez Hilton YouTube channel. And if you're listening this week, it'll be out tomorrow, Thursday, on my at Perez Hilton YouTube channel if you want to watch, in addition to listening. So make sure you're subscribed to that. Also, my little bit of indulgence, I took my son to see The Conjuring. The devil made me do it, and it was super fun.
Hmm.
And maybe this weekend, I don't know, I'm going to start watching a TV show.
The Crown. Please go The Crown.
No,
You'll love
not
The
the
Crown.
crown. No,
Come
not the
on, watch
crown.
The Crown. You'll fucking love The Crown.
I'm going to watch a TV show that makes me happy and that I could share with my son.
Oh, that would
Um,
make you so happy. I'm
it
telling
probably would,
you. It
but
would.
I don't know if my son would enjoy
No,
that.
no,
And if I'm gonna
definitely not.
if I'm gonna spend time watching television, I want to be able to share it with somebody, you know. That
Hmm.
I've said this before, watching TV by myself feels sad to me. Do you ever
Okay.
watch TV by yourself?
I have my shows and my girlfriend has her shows because there's some stuff I'm just not going to watch. She has the whole teenage version of Netflix Cornered, and I just don't have the time for some of that. A lot of it I do, but just some of it I don't. And there's guy shows that I watch that she has no interest in.
Anyways, I'm gonna start watching Loki on Disney Plus. That looks amazing.
Sounds fun.
Plus, I just love Tom Hiddleston and also that character and Marvel. So I'm so down. I cannot wait to watch that. And I cannot wait to talk about Chris Harrison. But first, do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. And I bet it could be hard work. You know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing too because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com. All right. On to Chris Harrison. And the news broke yesterday. I did a little 30-second video promoting that I was going to talk about it in depth on the podcast. Excellent tease. I
Hmm.
sent Booker the link and he replied back, the writing was on the wall. I'm curious to hear why you think that. But first, a little backstory, very brief, although I'm sure most of our listeners and viewers already know what happened. Chris Harrison had been hosting The Bachelor and the spin-offs for almost exactly 20 years, since 2002. A few months ago, he did an interview with Bachelorette alum Rachel Lindsay. And not only is he or was he the host of all of these shows, but he was also a producer. And sometimes when you're in defense mode, and he's a producer, so it's like that's a family member of his. His number one priority was to defend the show,
Hmm.
and maybe that clouded his judgment. He was talking about Rachel Kirkconnell, who had this racism controversy this year on The Bachelor, and he was making excuses for her. And while making excuses for her past behavior, he was also, many people perceive, talking down at Rachel Lindsay. So I would say objectively, he mishandled that interview. My thoughts, super quickly. I've got it down to one sentence. So he was fired, walking away from the show. And my thought is, are we really expecting people to be perfect now? We have the expectation of perfection from those in show business. Yes, he mishandled that interview, but is that a fireable offense? I don't think it is. But in this new day and age where the bar is Oprah, but heck, even Oprah back in the day made mistakes. Like, if Oprah were doing her TV show now, she'd probably be canceled every other month or something. It's just wild
a good point.
To me. Like,
it's a good point.
Why do you think the writing was on the wall?
You just really summed it up perfectly. Everything you said. You can't make a mistake anymore. You can't be a person of power that has any say or a difference of opinion and work for a major corporation without being a target. You cannot be. It's an attack on freedom of speech. I agree with you. I can't defend anything he said. Okay. I can't defend even the way you put it, him defending his show. And I understand trying to be interesting in a debate as well and trying to give somebody good TV or good podcasting or whatever. I even get that. But in this world, the way that it is, if you're successful and you have a difference of opinion, you're subject to be, quote, canceled. And he officially was. Now, he got probably a large paycheck out of it, but it's ridiculous. There's no making mistakes anymore. You must be perfect. There's so many people that tweeted me like, you should go for that job now. You should. I'm like, really? They go back to this podcast and dig up about 25,000 things that I'd said that I don't really think are offensive, and I'm doing a show, but you never know. You know what I mean? Think about like Howard Stern doing America's Got Talent right now. Do you think he could do that job right now without people? Like, everything he's done has been out there and taken out of context under the lens of today versus the lens of 10, 15, 20 years ago. You couldn't do it. But maybe it's because Chris Harrison said what he said today. I don't know. It's just, it's weird to wonder where we're going with this, because this seems a little out of control.
And the other issue that I have is, why are we holding celebrities to a different standard? Because in a normal job, the HR protocol would be, okay, somebody did something wrong, let's reprimand them. Let's not fire them. Like, we're so quick to fire people now too, instead of just doing what we should, having a teachable moment and reprimanding them.
Right. Here's the thing. All of the companies in the world pay attention to social media, and that's a fact. They do. They think it's real. They think that the outrage is real. It's not. People at night, when they come home from work, they don't sit around and worry about the world, this and that. They worry about their cable bill. They worry about their gas bill. They worry about the next meal that's coming in. They worry about the health of their nephew. They worry about things like that. No one's worrying about things like this. But these corporations, they see this online fake tsunami. It's exactly what it is. It's fake. It's not fucking real. The outrage, not real. The outrage against Chris Harrison 6 months from after it happened, not real. No one's talking about it except for this fake tsunami. And, and they pay attention. Companies need to stop. They need to say, if I was a company, I would say, you know what, maybe we should just pull ourselves off of social media. Then, we don't have to see it. We don't have to look at it anymore. Look, the brand is over. I think the show's been caved in for a while. The Bachelorette is on now, right? I didn't see the ratings for the first episode. I imagine they're in the toilet. I'm sure it's a train wreck. You got hosts that have never hosted before. Look at American Idol. American Idol season 1 was a nightmare, okay? You had Ryan Seacrest on it. The guy knows what the fuck he's doing with the camera in front of him. Nightmare. That show with Brian Dunkelman, a train wreck. It takes a while to get it going. You can look at our podcast. It took a while for us to figure out what we're doing. So I can't imagine it was good. I didn't see it, but I can't imagine it was good
I
or
definitely
great.
didn't watch it. And Chris Harrison, you mentioned earlier, is walking away with a lot of money. Reportedly, $50 million.
Woo!
And
Damn, he was. I don't believe he was making that much bank from the show.
well, I'll
I believe he
explain.
was making good money.
I'll explain. First of all, he has my lawyer, who's a pit bull,
Mhm.
Brian Friedman. And secondly, from what I read, no information from Brian Friedman.
Right. You have no insider information,
No.
right?
From what I read, they paid him $50 million to silence him.
Mm.
So he will not really be talking, I think, about anything that happened going forward, especially because, like I said at the beginning, he was a producer on the show. So he knows a lot about everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the wake of his exit, many Bachelor Nation alums took to his Instagram to wish him well and send him a bon voyage and express their disappointment with the decision. So that's that. On to another big breaking story over the last week. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have welcomed their second child into the world. Her name is Lilibet Diana Mountbatten Windsor. And they made it a point to let us know that her name is actually Lily, even though it's Lilibet.
Mm-hmm.
And Lilibet is what the royal family calls Queen Elizabeth. That's her nickname and what, her husband, the late Prince Philip, used to call her, and her sister and her parents. What's interesting, though, and I'm not trying to start drama. I'm not.
Okay.
But
let me have it. I'll decide.
I can only speak from experience because I went through something similar. And I'll share that with you in a second. But Prince Harry's brother, Prince William, his daughter is named Charlotte Elizabeth Diana. Mm-hmm. And this other girl now has basically the same exact name. Lilibet Elizabeth Diana. And now this other, it's Charlotte Elizabeth Diana.
Well, what is your name?
What do you mean? My name?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Your name. Then I'll say, what is your son's name?
Oh,
people do that all the time. I mean, and if you had a sister, and if your sister named, if her kid something to honor your father.
That's what I was getting. Okay. But this is the story. Before my third daughter was born, I told my sister that I wanted to call her Mandy, which was my dad's nickname.
That's cool.
Because his middle name was Armando. So instead of calling him Armando, they never called him Mario. They would call him Mandy.
Oh.
Mandy, short for Armando. Mm-hmm. And my sister said, "Oh no, I was planning to use that name." And then me, being the kind, good person that I am, I didn't want to start a war with my sister.
Right.
Even though I told her first I wanted to use that name.
Yeah, you did the right. I got to be honest with you. You did the right thing. It was nice of you to do. You didn't need to. You got the kid out first.
I know. I sort of regret it because if I hadn't told her I was thinking of doing that, then I would have just named her that and then be like, all right, that's the name.
You know what? Maite, next time I see her, I'm calling her Mandy.
Well, there's already a Mandy now. It's my sister's daughter. So
can't help it. Doesn't matter.
Well, I sort of regret the name Maite, to be honest. I would have rather named her Mandy because it's a much easier name for Americans to pronounce.
Sure. And I like the backstory too. I didn't know that about your dad. You never said that your dad was nicknamed Mandy. That's a cool name too. I really like that name for a dude, Mandy.
Anyways, in more Prince Harry and Meghan Markle news, next year, 2022, is the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, which is more than a diamond jubilee. I don't even think it goes above platinum. And actually, I think platinum is like a made up thing because in the real world, diamond is the best or the biggest or whatever. And diamond is for a 60th anniversary, 60th. Platinum.
No, I thought diamond was 50. I'm just thinking of like record sales. Like if your album goes gold, if it goes, if it goes diamond, I thought that meant you sold. No, diamond's 10 million, I think. So, all right, I'm completely off now
A
that I think
diamond,
about it. I
just
think
Googled
diamond
it.
is 10 million.
A diamond jubilee is the 60th anniversary. For
Okay.
whatever reason, that's just how royals across the world have been doing it for a long time. Queen's Platinum Jubilee. That means she's been the reigning monarch of the United Kingdom and territories for 70 years.
Jesus.
And they're having like 3 or 4 days of festivities to celebrate this next summer, I believe, in June, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
And a new report coming out of the palace is that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will absolutely not be snubbed for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee.
Wow.
If I'm Harry, you know, I'll begrudgingly go. I gotta go. But if I'm Meghan Markle, I would not want to subject myself to that, either from the family and awkward conversations, even if everybody was being pleasant, and also from the media. Like, but then again, if she doesn't go, that's a ton of media as well. Like, oh, Meghan Markle didn't come. There's no winning in this situation. But what do you think she should do?
Well, I think you got that wrong. I think the whole thing is a win because it's just another story for Meghan Markle and Harry. The thing is, what else do they have going on? There's nothing going on. Well, they got a fucking podcast. I mean, who gives a shit? Nobody. People like the juice. People like the story. And they're providing content by not being participants in the quote family crown, whatever you want to call it. So I think it's a huge win for them because, like you've always said, if no one's talking about you, you're in trouble. That's all they have going. So either way, she goes, win. Doesn't go, win. That's how I see it.
Eventually, those stories are going to fade. Just like
you're right.
Just like, you know, 3 years ago, like every week there was a new story with her father or her sister or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And now we don't really care that much. Like the dad did give a statement about the birth of his granddaughter. I didn't even cover it. I don't care anymore. Mm-hmm. People eventually will lose interest. So there's that. All right. Also, over the weekend, YouTuber turned boxer Logan Paul fought one of the greatest of all time, Floyd Mayweather, in this exhibition match where many people were upset because there was no declared winner. Mm-hmm. But they should have known that ahead of time if they spent their money on the pay-per-view. It was an exhibition match.
I didn't know until the day after. I obviously didn't watch the fight. I don't know if they have electricity in Florida, but I read that it was an exhibition, and I always assumed you'd have a winner, even with the word exhibition, because it's not two professionals fighting. So you have to call it an exhibition. It wasn't for ranking. It wasn't for any sort of anything that would be, you know, monitored somewhere on a list. So, but I still assumed there would be a winner. I didn't think that they would walk away without a winner.
If there was a KO, there would have been a winner,
I guess.
But there wasn't in this situation. And I watched a bunch of clips from it. It looked so fake to me and staged. Like,
it was probably choreographed dancing. And that's what the problem with boxing has become, especially with Mayweather. Everyone's, look, he's a professional fighter and one of the greatest, but no one's ever really seen him go, you know, toe to toe with a guy fighting. It's a lot of chasing people around a ring. That's why people went to MMA, because they're like, there has to be contact somewhere. So I kind of figured it was going to be dancing, and dancing it was. Maybe Chris Harrison could host the next one.
Yeah, I don't know who the people are who spent their money. Actually, I think my godson watched the fight.
I had more than one friend text me to ask where I was watching the fight. So people were into it. Zero interest. I mean, I was interested to find out if maybe there was some sort of upset, but I wasn't interested enough where I was going to find a TV and watch this.
Yeah. I wanted to see Logan Paul get obliterated.
Right.
And that did not happen.
That's what you want to see, right?
Because Floyd Mayweather was like smiling throughout, like literally smiling.
Was he?
Yes, smiling throughout the fight and just collecting his tens of millions of dollars.
Yep.
I wonder though, like I'm fascinated by this whole thing. Like at the end of the day, did this gamble pay off for Showtime? Did they make money on this? Because it was Showtime Boxing that sponsored it.
To answer that, I would say in the short term, yes, which is the only thing anybody thinks about anymore. But in the long term, no, because it's the old adage, fool me once. It's that, because I think a lot of people went in and a lot of people said, hey, I'll spend money on this, but now they'll never do it again. So you got your money up front, but it'll never happen again. They could try to do this again and people will not reach into their pockets because a lot of people were pissed and they felt burnt, and they should.
I mean, I would have expected this from Logan Paul. So.
Right. 100%. Agree with you totally.
Well, now that he walked away as well with all these millions of dollars, Logan Paul can buy as much Magic Spoon as he wants. He could buy Magic Spoon for the entire country of Puerto Rico, where he's been living. If you have not bought Magic Spoon yet, you're really missing out. And hello, it's summertime. We've got to get our bikini bodies ready. So Magic Spoon will help you. And I'm not saying you have to look a certain way either, all right? Whatever your bikini body is, it'll be great. But I just know for me, the healthier I am, the more confident I am with my body. And Magic Spoon is a healthier cereal. Let me tell you a little bit specifically about it. It is made from low carb. It's just, here we go. I had a brain fart. It's got 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving, only 140 calories a serving. So that means, oh my God, I mean, I would not advise this, but if you have Magic Spoon for breakfast, lunch, cereal, and 2 snacks a day, that's a real low calorie diet, and you're going to get results that way. You try it, the Magic Spoon cereal, courtesy of Perez, the Magic Spoon diet.
Listen, if you want to relive your childhood, this is what you do. You buy Magic Spoon because it's all of those flavors you loved as a kid, and you get to experience them guilt-free. That is Magic Spoon. Get some, order some, use the Perez code, and you'll enjoy it.
MagicSpoon.com to grab a custom bundle of cereal today. And they're so confident that Magic Spoon is backed by a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. That's magicspoon.com/Perez and use the code Perez to save $5 off. All right, on to Chrissy Teigen. She's been very quiet over the last month following her return to social media and then subsequent disappearance from social media after her old tweets against Courtney Stodden resurfaced. She did make an appearance recently on her husband, John Legend's Instagram. He took a photo of their daughter and Chrissy at a dance recital of their daughter. And in the wake of all of this, she's now turning down work. She was supposed to make an appearance on this new Netflix Mindy Kaling project, and she decided to leave that show, even though it was just a voiceover role. Easy money, but you know, she doesn't need the money. And now, according to reports, I think I mentioned a while ago that she started this new company with Kris Jenner. This company called, well, let's not even mention it because I don't need to give them free advertising. But it's a company selling eco-friendly products, like cleaning products, as if Kris Jenner and Chrissy Teigen do any of the cleaning in their houses.
They've never cleaned a damn thing.
But because of all of the controversy, according to reports, Chrissy Teigen has been dropped and told to no longer market and mention this cleaning product. And they were relying on that to really push sales. Kris Jenner, I bet you she's renegotiating the deal right now and is going to be cutting in her daughters because she's not gonna. She double dips, but she's smart. She's not gonna ask her daughters to promote her business for free. She'll be like, okay, if I now have to ask Kim,
I don't care.
You don't care?
No, no.
All right. Well, I've gotten feedback from some of our listeners for you to stop saying I don't care.
Let me give them some feedback. I don't give a shit. There you go. Come on, dude. I don't care. You're trying to dice up what the Kardashians should do after this fall. Who gives a shit? No one cares. Come on.
A lot of our
I'm not saying people don't care about these people. I'm just you're diving too far in on something that we should just move on with. That's all. Who cares? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying people that I don't care about the story. I cared about the story. Perez is just going a little too deep. What she's going to do with the cleaning products, how she's going to this is all who cares? You're just guessing. It's not really news.
Well, I cared. I brought it up. I care.
The story was good. Now let's move on.
All right. Well, I care. That's your answer. I care. All right. In other news, and I'm disappointed by this from Vanity Fair. Vanity Fair, over the last many months, has cornered the beat on Armie Hammer. They've written many profiles and smaller articles for their website, as well as a longer piece in the magazine. They must have really good sources plugged into Armie and his ex or soon to be ex-wife and the family. They broke the story that he has checked himself into rehab, which I think is a great thing. And the mother of his children, Elizabeth Chambers, is very supportive. She was seen with their children saying goodbye to him at the airport in the Cayman Islands when he headed off to treatment. Maybe they're going to get back together. Who knows? Or she's just being a very supportive former partner. But Vanity Fair even went so far as to reveal not the name of the rehab that he's at, but the city that he's going to rehab in. That felt wrong to me. I don't know. Are paparazzi going to go there now to try to get photos of him, walking the grounds?
Let me ask you, do you think enough people give a shit about Armie Hammer that it even matters? I still contend that he's not a name that's going to sell magazines. The story initially was juicy. It was interesting. But we're on
people are now invested because of it.
Are they? Okay. Yeah. I think they're not. I don't think I think people barely cared in the beginning. And now I think that dicing up where he's going to rehab. I agree.
You're deflecting, and you didn't answer my question. Do you think that was a good look or a good move of them to name the city where he's going to rehab, or you don't think it matters?
I don't think it matters. I don't think it's a good move or bad move. It's just part of the story that I don't believe people care enough about in the first place. That's all.
Well, in this most recent Vanity Fair article, they gave even more shocking details about his alleged drug use. That's just wild, man. Armie, and he's a 6'6" tall dude. So
he's that big?
Yeah.
So I didn't know he was a big guy. Of course, I could barely think of who he is in my mind.
So, they were just saying, for him, he wouldn't just do a little bit of alleged drugs. He would do a lot because he needed to do a lot in order to feel things, whatever. It's wild. I'm curious to our listeners and viewers, are you interested in the Armie Hammer ongoing situation? Yes or no? Call us 800-721-1185. In similar news, the director of the Friends reunion has spoken out about all of the unkind comments about Matthew Perry's slurred speech and appearance, and defended him. And those on Team Perry are trying to explain the reason for that. They claim that day, that same exact day of shooting, he had a tooth procedure, an emergency tooth procedure. I mean, it could be true. I don't
Listen,
know.
if you need a root canal, you got to have I just had a root canal done. If you need it done, you need to have it done. If you need to have some sort of thing that's causing you pain in your mouth and you need to have it addressed, it needs to be addressed. It's not something that you can tough through. A toothache hurts. It really
You
hurts.
can't move it a day later.
Perez, sometimes if a tooth is impacted or if it's infected, you actually if a tooth is infected on the inside, it's very, very dangerous to your health because it's so close. Your teeth are close to your brain. You have an infection close to your brain. That's not a good look. It's a situation that usually needs to be dealt with. So I buy that all day long.
All
Sure.
right.
Why not?
So there's that. Also, speaking of Matthew Perry, he and his fiance have called it quits after being engaged for a while. And
Hmm.
that's not exactly surprising after his whole Raya scandal was made public. But some people now believe that he is secretly or not so secretly dating his assistant. So
Nice.
it's not all bad. Well, is it nice? Is that appropriate to be dating your assistant?
He's a guy that's almost 50. Okay.
He's
And
more than
he's
50.
right. Okay. You're right. He's probably over 50. So the dude's like 50 some years old. He's running around with 20-year-olds because he's Matthew Perry. Why not? If you're a willing participant in dating, money, an older celebrity, cool. I don't have any problem with that.
He's 51 and he will be
Okay.
52 very soon in August.
Hmm.
So, well, congratulations to him. It's nice to know that there's not all bad news. A question for you and for the audience. Naomi Osaka, we spoke about her in depth last week after she pulled
I've
out.
uh I've lost you, Perez.
Oh, no.
I've you've frozen up to me, so I can't hear anything or see anything you're doing. You're
Oh, no.
frozen
What are we going to do about
like something
YouTube?
in the freezer.
I'm seeing myself, but you're frozen. Oh, no. Shoot. That really sucks. There
There
we
we
go.
go.
We're back.
There we're back.
Hallelujah.
Okay.
All right. Last week, we spoke about Naomi Osaka in depth on the podcast after she pulled out of the French Open. I'm curious to hear what you and our listeners and viewers think about this. Before she pulled out, a few weeks prior, only about 2 weeks prior, it was announced that she is going to be one of the co hosts, the co chairs of the Met Gala in September.
Now, what does that mean?
It means she needs to show up, walk the red carpet, and do interviews, take photos, and she's the co chair. First of all, just 2 weeks before she dropped out of the French Open, this was made public. So she had agreed to this.
Mm-hmm.
That says something about, she felt okay enough to do that.
Well,
But maybe a lot could change in 2 weeks. So do you think that she should pull out of this in September?
I don't know. I don't know if she should pull out of anything. I know that she's pulled out of interviews, and the reason is because she thinks that it's affecting her game. Now, this doesn't have anything to do with her game. Now, she's there because of her game. That's what's made her famous. It's hard to say. She says it affects her mental health. That doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. I get having anxiety about doing interviews. Not everybody's meant to do that. It's not easy. Like I said last week, it's okay to suck at it. Just get over it. Just suck at it. It's part of the job. But some people, disagree. I don't know if one thing has to do with the other, would be my answer to you.
All right. What do you guys think? Let us know. We're going to get to Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. But first, this episode is brought to you by Rise, a science-based app that makes it easy to improve your sleep and daily energy. Sleep is as necessary as air or food. Did you know it's normal to feel groggy when you wake up and sluggish in the afternoon? However, it's not normal to feel tired throughout the day. Rise uses a scientific, fact-based approach to help you get the sleep your body needs. It's built around the two principles that sleep researchers agree most affect how we feel and perform: sleep debt and circadian rhythm. I hope I pronounced that. Is it circadian? Circadian.
You'd ask me. Like, I know, I'm a dummy.
Circadian. Well, thankfully, if you don't even know what this is, you can find out so much more to get better sleep and get more energy throughout your day, because we need more energy because the world is exhausting us these days. Rise helps you realize your potential with real results, real productivity, real performance, real well-being. 80% of Rise users feel the benefits within 5 days. So give it a try and see what it can do for you. Go to risescience.com/Perez and download the Rise app today to try it for free for 7 days. You've got nothing to lose. That's risescience.com/Perez to try the Rise app for free for 7 days. All right, back to our favorite couple of 2021, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. They continue to spend time together and continue to do so across the country. They have just been spotted together in Los Angeles, and J-Lo was also spotted visiting schools near Ben Affleck's home, which leads me to believe that she's planning to move back to Los Angeles to be closer to Ben Affleck. As I've mentioned repeatedly on the podcast, for the last several years, she's been living in Miami, and now she's getting ready to come back.
Well, or to be close,
serious.
Or to be closer to work.
But she can work from wherever. She's Jennifer Lopez.
True.
And she's been working from Miami for the last several years.
Well, it's different if you're thinking about building a life somewhere and you've decided that her and A-Rod's invested down there as well. You say, hey, we're going to build a life down here. You put the kids in school down there. That makes sense. But now she's like, look, I left Miami in the first place. I only came back because of the relationship. Now I'm like, I have no reason. I'm just going to go back to where my work is, where my home base is. It's Los Angeles.
All of this moving back and forth for the kids, I don't know if they're...
These are celebrities. These are not normal kids. They're not to be held at the same bar as a regular kind of person. It's different. They're rich. Their parents are famous. So
yeah, both of their parents. Yeah, It's wild. So, well, in more couples news, Shailene Woodley reveals that after she started dating her now fiance, football player Aaron Rodgers, they basically moved in immediately.
Wow.
Like after less than a handful of dates. And I'm curious, is that just a celebrity thing, or is that common with normal people too?
I think a lot of people are impetuous, and I think that sometimes people think when they know, they know. When you fall in love, the beginning, it's hot. It's the best. There's nothing better than new love, and it makes you make decisions that later on you sometimes regret. And this could be one. Then again, it could work. It could last forever.
How long until you and your girlfriend moved in together?
Actually, pretty quickly. I would say
6 months.
Yeah, I'd put it around maybe. The thing was, she was at my place almost every day anyhow. So it just became, why are you paying rent? And I'm going to be with you, so we're going to be together. And it sort of was like, there's no point of paying for this place anymore. That's all.
I like it. In more couples news, Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox were pulled over by police because he was riding a motorcycle without a helmet on.
Yeah, this isn't Florida, dude.
Dumb. And the paparazzi also caught him parking in a disabled spot.
Yeah, come on, dude. That's
maybe he has some disability that's not visible, but let's just say he's most likely just pulling a douchebag move.
Yeah, let's go with the latter.
All right. I have a couple of interesting broader topic issues, which I always like to pepper those every once in a while
Mm-hmm.
with the podcast. I don't know if you've been paying attention to that one story about that 14-year-old kid who brutally murdered that young girl, Aiden
No.
Fucci, in Florida. You didn't hear that story? He like
No.
stabbed her over 100 times. And now, even though he's 14 years old, Aiden Fucci, who allegedly murdered Tristan Bailey, is going to be tried as an adult.
Okay.
And the latest development in that story is that the mother allegedly helped him cover it up by cleaning blood stained clothes of his.
Oh, wow.
So, my question is, if you're the father of a 14-year-old who committed murder, would you help cover it up or would you turn them into the police? I guess I'll start with myself. I can only speak for what I know now, right? And that is, if today my son comes home from school, he's still in school this week, and he said, something happened, and at recess I took somebody to the woods and I killed him, I'd be like, what? I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know what I would do, but my inclination would be I would cover it up. I'm sorry. Like,
I think as a parent, that's a natural instinct
if it was my son as I know him now. If it was my son and I always got like vibes that something was wrong or something was off or that he could do something like this, then I'd be like, I have to turn him in because he could kill other people or me, right? But if my happy, normal, adjusted kid, all of a sudden I killed somebody, I'm like, well, I don't know what's going on here. I don't even know. I don't know. What would you do? It's so complicated.
I would tell everybody about Geico. Do you rent or own your home? Sure you do. And I bet it could be hard work. You know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing too, because you've got so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com.
All right. Well, in a similar story, not too similar, but just like very trending viral. Did you watch that one video of that 17-year-old girl who fought a bear?
That was amazing. That was a 17-year-old. I thought that. I had no idea. I thought that was like the mom of the house that did that.
No, she was 17 and she was afraid that the bear would attack her dogs.
So well, she said that she didn't. I did see the story and I saw the after. I read the after, and she said that she wasn't even aware that it was a bear. She just thought that some sort of animal was coming after her pet.
So I didn't see that.
It didn't even compute to her that it was a bear. It was actually two bears. It was a mama and a cub.
Oh my God.
There were two bears in that video, but it's weird.
The adrenaline was flowing.
I think, believe it or not, and I am a giant pussy, I believe I would have done the same thing because I love my pets so much. I think I would do anything to protect my dog and my cat. I think I would have ran out there like a bat out of hell and done anything to protect my animal. I think it's instinct.
I love my dog so much too, but he's also 14 years old.
You make a good point. My cat is 13. The 13-year-old cat, I'd be like, you had a good run. But my little boo-boo that's been meowing for this whole freaking episode, I would probably have to go and save her, but I feel you there.
All right. In other wacky news, Lorde, any minute now, is going to be making her comeback to music.
Oh, good.
By the tone in your voice, I'm going to guess that you did not see the cover for her single.
No.
You have to see this. When you think of Lorde, you think of a certain thing. So look at the cover for her new single. It's called Solar Power.
Okay.
I just texted it to you.
Yes, thank you. God, you're very good at this. Oh my. I just see a set of legs. Hold on. I'm still opening. I think my internet is very taxed from the show we're doing right now. We've got 900 things going on. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an upskirt right there without the skirt.
Sun's out, buns out.
Exactly. I saw a picture of her recently, and this is always very hard for me when I've met an artist at such a young age. Like I knew her kind of, I think Royals was happening online, and then radio, we picked up the station I worked at. We picked up on it very quickly, and we got her in very quickly. And she was a young girl. And I want to say what was she when she cracked? 15, 16? So I always kind of see those artists in that light. I see them like Alessia Cara will somehow always be like 17 to me. Lorde will always be 16 to me. Seeing some of these artists like turn out like sexy, they turn into women. That's all. And some of them are very beautiful. And I did see a picture of her, I want to say last week. And I did recall thinking, wow, she's really turned into a very beautiful woman. This is a different angle. Yeah. I'll give you that. It's a very different angle. And I am a man, so it is appealing, but it is still sort of creepy-ish to me, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah, the angle is a little bit off-putting, but I kind of like that, right? Like she's doing what so many other pop stars have done before her, which is embracing her sexuality. From Britney to even recently Billie Eilish, she's doing it in a Lorde way. She's giving us this like weird take on embracing your sexuality, this weird angle. I'm like, oh my God, like I could see her vagina from here. Like
you can't see her vagina. You see her vagina area.
I mean, she's wearing,
she's got a thong on, sure,
but I could still see her fupa. That was funny in my mind. Anyway,
it was funny. Don't worry.
Anyways, you have she worked with Jack Antonoff on it, and you said you had a Jack Antonoff story.
Oh, it wasn't for the show, but I do have it's for another time.
Oh,
yeah.
Tell us now.
Nope. There are things that we share off the show, and this is going to have to be one of them.
I thought you meant for me to mention it on the
No,
show.
I'm sorry. I should have been clearer on that.
All right. Well, speaking of Jack Antonoff, one of his other frequent collaborators, Taylor Swift, is going to give it another go at acting after her performance in the Cats film, which
the Cats debacle.
I think I mentioned it on the podcast. I liked Cats. I enjoyed it, because I am a big gay and I could suspend my disbelief.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it, but this is a little bit controversial. She's going to star in the new David O. Russell film, and he has an awful reputation for being a belligerent, bullying director who's gotten into fights with multiple actors. So he'll be on his best behavior with Taylor Swift, though, because Taylor Swift is not one to be fucked with. Speaking of Billie Eilish, have you heard her new single, Lost Cause?
I have. I like the bass line that throughout it. It's not a radio single. It's just an album track.
I think it's a radio single.
No, they're not going to release it as a radio single.
Interesting. Well, I love it. I mean, I like it so much more than the last song. Which
Your Power?
that one was awful.
I wouldn't say it's awful. I think that one has to sit with you for a few minutes because I like that song now. I mean, I like it.
But I love Lost Cause. All right, we're wrapping it up. We got a couple more items, and we'll do it briefly. Khloe Kardashian is the face of this new migraine medication, and she got a lot of criticism after a new commercial dropped. Because I did not know this, but if you get plastic surgery, one of the side effects is that it could cause migraines. And
are you sure you have that right? Because I thought, okay, now that makes sense. No, I think Botox, and someone please correct me. I could
Botox
totally have this one.
Used to treat migraines.
That's what I thought.
Surgery, like a nose job or a boob job or whatever. plastic surgery could cause migraines. So somebody left a comment about, why would they pick somebody who's gotten a lot of plastic surgery to be the spokesperson for this migraine thing. And she felt compelled to clarify that she's been suffering from migraines since she was young. So she just wanted to help people.
I'm sure she has.
Also, Travis Barker, Kourtney Kardashian's boyfriend, and his children are going to star on Hulu's version of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, the new show that they're working on for Hulu, which means, well, maybe it's not 100% true, but I would imagine that their mother, Shayna Moakler, had to sign off on that.
They're underage?
Yeah.
I would think you're right.
Yeah, so she's not the worst mother in the world if she signed off on them. But then again, she benefits from the kids being on the Keeping Up with the Kardashians Hulu show. Her son, Landon Barker, replied to somebody on social media recently saying, I wouldn't consider Shayna Moakler my mom whatsoever. Scandal.
Wow.
Speaking of Shayna Moakler, she just launched an OnlyFans account, which is not surprising to me because Travis Barker, when he started dating her, she was a Playboy model. So, it's logical for me that if you're a Playboy model, you would have an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
No problem with that. It's logical that if you're a Playboy model, you would probably also enjoy the Terp Pen XL because they like to party, those Playmates. The Terp Pen XL is a dab pen that runs on a rechargeable battery, allowing a cordless and hassle-free dabbing experience. Simply breathe in to activate, apply the tip to your favorite THC or CBD concentrate, and enjoy. There's no need to worry about butane torches or expensive dab rings. It comes with 3 voltage settings to choose from. It's made from medical grade materials, which means that cleaning the Terp Pen XL is easy. It's alcohol friendly. It fits on most female water pipes. It comes with a 45-minute charge time and a 3-year warranty. The Terp Pen XL is dependable and guaranteed to last. Go to terppenxl.com for 25% off using the discount code Perez at checkout. That's terppenxl.com. All right, briefly, I wish I would have done this earlier because this could be long, but I'll do it briefly.
Okay.
Jojo Siwa, whom we know and love, is starring in this new movie, and she has a kissing scene with a male actor in the movie, and she's trying to get the kissing scene removed now that she's come out as queer. Jojo, it's called acting.
Thank you.
You're playing a role. Her justification, though, is that most of her fans are very young, 10 and younger, and she doesn't want to confuse them. But it's
acting. I got to go back. If you said that she doesn't want, okay, let's dig a little deeper into her comment. Maybe it's not the fact that it's even a heterosexual kiss. Maybe she's just talking about a kiss in general, and she thinks that subject matter kissing is. You think? Do you know?
I know.
Okay. Yeah. Then I'm in total disagreement because if her point of view was that look, kissing even maybe a little too young for my audience, I could get down with that. But the fact is that we're dicing it up and saying, no, kissing's okay. I just don't want to confuse them about my personal sexuality. It's acting.
She said, I'm madly in love and I do not want to kiss another human, especially because it's a man.
Then don't be an actor.
Yeah. Also, speaking of Jojo Siwa, she's officially an adult now. She's 18 years old. She had a party and she had somebody overdose at her party.
She's the talk of the neighborhood because, we never hear anything come out of her house. Every now and again, she's got a whole light rig set up in her backyard. And usually anything they do is in the day, maybe something at, night, but it's not late or anything like that. But the neighborhood app was going crazy because the police showed up and everyone's like, what's happening at Jojo Siwa's house? It's a big scandal up here in Tarzana.
What's the neighborhood app that you use? Community?
Isn't it called the neighborhood?
I don't know what it is. You use it, you check it.
My girlfriend does. I don't have it. I want to say it's on Facebook.
I don't know. It's so
I think
funny.
there's a Facebook neighborhood section.
My sister is all about that. Like she checks her local community stuff and she's like, I'm in my own little bubble. All right. In other wacky news, Kid Rock was videotaped at a bar an hour away from Nashville, and he was performing there with like the house band, and some folks started videoing him, and then he yelled the F word at them because he didn't want to be videotaped, the homophobic slur. I think that's just very on brand for Kid Rock. I'm not surprised that he said that, nor do I think that this will affect his fan base or career in any way. I think he'll get elected as a Republican to some higher office, actually, despite this. So nice to hear that Kid Rock is still alive.
Don't confuse Chris Rock.
I know, sorry. That's too much of a compliment. Briefly, I love old people drama. Old people drama makes me feel so much better about myself.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, because you look at them and like, you're behaving like a child.
Yeah.
You're in your late 40s or 50s and you're an idiot. I never watched them, but I'm familiar with these people and they have a bit of a following. Big Brother winners, Big Brother winner Mike Boogie Mallon was found guilty of stalking his former Chilltown or whatever the hell they're called teammate and friend, Dr. Will Kirby.
Okay.
And it all happened because CBS reached out to them that they wanted them to compete on The Amazing Race as a team. And Dr. Will did not want to compete with Mike Boogie Mallon. And then that upset him so much. He started sending him death threats to not just him, but death threats to his children and wild, crazy.
We're not even on the D list. We're on the X list. Yeah. Jesus.
Anyway, speaking of wild, crazy legal news, Drake Bell, the former Nickelodeon star, has been charged with crimes against children and was arrested. Allegedly, he was chatting with a minor, and we don't know too many details, but the conversation allegedly got sexual in nature. And this is not the first time these kinds of allegations have been labeled or lobbied against Drake Bell. In some film news, briefly, Tom Cruise is said to be fuming because he had to self-isolate for 2 weeks after 7 crew members and dancers involved with filming a scene for Mission Impossible at a club tested positive for COVID. I wish that leaked, but I don't think it did.
No.
Unfortunately. Also, speaking of films, Vin Diesel is premiering the new Fast and Furious movie at Cannes.
That's where we are in movies. It can be done.
Cannes must be very desperate for films this year. Some family news briefly. Demi Lovato says that being the breadwinner as a teen affected her relationship with her parents.
Makes sense.
Demi said that, not she, sorry. Demi said that on Demi's most recent podcast. I said that myself on our podcast. There should be some kind of rule that the money cannot be accessed by the parents, or that it isn't all paid now, that the kids get it when they're older in life. I don't know. That whole system needs to be better done. Also, I mentioned briefly that Rachel Bilson last week or the week before has this OC podcast. On the most recent episode, they were talking about Misha Barton and denying allegations that Misha made, saying she was putting misinformation out there and that, they don't believe or they didn't witness any of the bullying that she talked about, blah, 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 blah. And finally, let's end things on a positive note. I did not know that Vanessa Bryant, Kobe Bryant's widow, was on good terms with his sisters or sister. I think he has more than one sister, or at least one sister. I did know that Kobe was estranged from his parents, but Vanessa is cool with Kobe's sister, Sharia, or Sharia. I hope I didn't mispronounce her name. She even bought her a brand new Tesla. Meanwhile, her mother must be pulling a Tom Cruise and livid but her own daughter bought this woman a Tesla and can't help mom out with, house payments or whatever it might be. All right, let's take some calls or a call.
Listen up, my fam, because I'm going to tell you the secret to traveling the world and never paying full price ever again. People are paying too much for flights, and the booking process is confusing. Airfare is constantly changing, and it's hard to know if a listed price is really the best deal. Flight prices go up and down by hundreds of dollars, even in the same day, so you could pay a totally different price than the person next to you for the exact same flight. However, Scott's Cheap Flights helps travelers get the best price every single time. They combine the most sophisticated technology with a team of flight experts to monitor thousands of routes on major airlines all day, every day. When prices drop, they will send you, their members, an email alert quickly, so they never miss an amazing deal. Deals like Europe for less than $300, Hawaii for less than $200, Japan for less than $300. And those are round-trip airfare tickets on quality airlines with one stop or less. At Scott's Cheap Flights, they won't send deals they wouldn't take themselves, and they don't take those kickbacks from airlines. Their only goal is to send their members great deals. So, join for free at scottscheapflights.com/Perez and never overpay for flights again. It's join for free at scottscheapflights.com/Perez.
Hey guys, this is Marie in Colorado. I listened to the last podcast and you were talking about the origin of the 5-day work week. And I don't know if you've ever seen the show on Netflix called Adam Ruins Everything, but he has an episode on how American work-life structure came to be, and it was super interesting. But pretty much there was a rise of the middle class in the early 1900s. And when Henry Ford was manufacturing the automobile, he realized his workers were working so much they didn't have time to go out and spend their disposable income. So it was a 3-day weekend whenever we can take one.
Amen to that. 2 days sucks. 3 days, awesome.
I had somebody from, I think, Denmark reach out that listened to that podcast too. And I think in Denmark, they get 6 weeks of paid vacation.
Wow.
Oh my God. I mean, you have to deal with it being really dark for most of the year in Denmark, and it's freezing a lot of the time, but I don't know. There's a big plus to that. You can take your 6 weeks vacation during those dark, cold months.
Would you rather have 6 weeks of vacation or 4-day work weeks? I would rather have a 4-day work week and have no vacation. I wouldn't need a vacation if I had a 4-day work week.
I would rather have a six week vacation.
Not me. All right.
If I was a normal person.
You're not.
I'm not. Hey, Chris. Hey, Perez. This is Elle from Jersey calling in regards to the posting on TMZ about a Jojo Siwa's pride party. Cops called for guest possible OD is the headline right now. And they're saying that some 30-year-old walked in ODing on LSD.
I don't think you can OD on LSD. I
mean,
think
you could have a really bad trip,
reaction. Yeah. And then people, then they call the ambulance or whatever to come get you. But the whole thing's just silly. What is going on over at that house? It's gonna escalate. If it started now, either they're gonna nip it in the bud and this never happens again, or this is a Chris Brown situation. Chris lives right up the street, by the way. Chris is off of the same road, so that whole strip on Van Alden is what the fuck.
Oh, don't mention where they live. Oh, wow.
Well, I mean, everybody, you could look it up. It's not, it's public knowledge.
Hi, this is Kendra calling from Daysland, Alberta, Canada. If you know where that is, little town, whatever, no problem. I just wanted to make a comment about Ariana Grande covering up her tattoos for her wedding, even though it's only 1 or 2 tattoos. What is your opinion? Thanks, guys.
I saw a picture of her hand, and I did see the tattoo in the picture, so I'm not exactly sure what she's talking about.
I don't know either, but I think she has a lot of tattoos. So if she wanted to cover up some, it's her wedding day. She can do what she wants.
Yeah, I got no problem with that.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. My name is Sylvia. I'm calling from Boston. I love your show.
I love her Boston
You guys
accent.
have great chemistry. It's a great balance. This is like the only podcast my boyfriend will let me listen to in the car.
Aww.
I usually agree with Perez a little bit more. He usually agrees with Spoken a little bit more. So I don't know. It's a good vibe you guys got going on. But I'm calling out Brad and Angelina about what they're saying it's nobody's business, and Perez saying the kids should have a say. Usually parents don't want their kids to testify, and it can be traumatic and everything. I kind of agree with Booker on this one, though, that it really isn't anyone else's business, because kids are very, God, I forget the word, but they can be persuaded very easily. Maybe if Brad's a little bit stricter, they don't want to spend more time with him, or Angelina spoils them a little bit more. So we can't really, if it's a matter of their safety, that one thing that happened on the airplane, that's one thing. But I think that's the only really rumors of any kind of inappropriate stuff that has ever happened that we know about with Brad. So I don't think that it really should be up to the kids. When I was younger, my dad was really strict. I would want to.
Okay, we're just going on and on forever here.
Well,
she gave her opinion. There you go.
I like that, though. More of our listeners need to start listening or watching with their boyfriends. Let's make that happen.
But over the years, it's funny how many times we have heard that because of, my angle, me not caring all the fucking time on the show, a lot of guys will listen because of my 2 cents. That's what makes the show kind of interesting. There are 2 definitive different opinions.
Stop being so boring and just come up with a different way of saying I don't care. Jesus.
When I'm just telling you people don't care, you're diving too deep. Okay, how about this? I'll say code word Perez. Too deep in the pool. How about that? Does it feel better to everyone listening? Instead of I don't care, we're too deep in the pool.
That is better. Yes, that's better.
Okay, code word too deep in the pool.
Isn't that the whole point of a podcast? Deep.
We're an hour 20. We have drowned. Right. Okay, our audience they have drowned. We're trying to resuscitate them at this point.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening and watching. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week back on our regular schedule. Have a great day, everybody. See you soon.
Thanks, guys. See you.
All right.